Rangers may be fully locked into a nail-biting title race, but behind the scenes, something intriguing is quietly taking shape. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. With Rangers climbing to the summit of the Scottish Premiership after a dramatic 4-2 win over Dundee United, the mood around Ibrox is electric. Every point matters, every moment is magnified, and yet, even with silverware hanging in the balance, the recruitment machine isn't slowing down. Because while Danny Röhl is focused on delivering a title, the club hierarchy are already planning what comes next. And it involves an exciting attacking talent making serious waves south of the border. Saturday's win told its own story. Ryan Naderi opened the scoring with his first league goal since arriving in January, a moment that hinted at promise. Bojan Miovski added gloss late on, stepping off the bench to seal the victory. Meanwhile, Yusef Cheriti, a man for the big occasion this season, couldn't quite add to his growing reputation after coming on at half-time. And that's the key point. Despite flashes of quality, Rangers striker situation still feels incomplete. There's no consistent dominant figure leading the line week in, week out. And in a title race this tight, that could prove decisive, which is exactly why this latest development is so intriguing. According to journalist Alan Nixon, Rangers are closely monitoring Joe Gellhart, a forward who looks like he's finally delivering on his long-standing potential. Once one of England's brightest young prospects at Wigan Athletic, Gellhart earned a high-profile move to Leeds United back in 2020. Early flashes in the Premier League suggested he had the tools to make it at the highest level, but opportunities became limited, and his development stalled. Loans followed. A spell at Sunderland offered mixed results. But now, things have changed. At Hull City, Gellhart has hit form in a big way, scoring 13 goals in 32 appearances and playing a pivotal role in their push for promotion. It's comfortably the most productive season of his career, and suddenly the 23-year-old looks like a player reborn. Sharp movement, clinical finishing, confidence restored. Exactly the kind of profile Rangers could be looking for. There's a twist though. Hull are keen to keep him, but their chances hinge heavily on whether they secure promotion. Fail to go up, and the door could open. And Rangers, it seems, are already waiting in the wings. What makes this even more fascinating is the underlying connection between clubs. Rangers' ownership structure has strong ties to Leeds United through 49ers Enterprises, adding another layer of intrigue to any potential deal. Figures like Parag Marath have previously bridged both clubs, although recent adjustments were made due to UEFA multi-club ownership regulations. Still, relationships matter in football, and this one could prove significant. So while the title race rages on, Rangers fans may want to keep one eye on developments off the pitch. Because if Joe Gellhart continues his current trajectory, this isn't just a rumour, it could be the next big move. Uncertainty is beginning to circle around Yusef Cheriti's future at Rangers, despite the forward only being in the early stages of his Ibrox journey. What initially looked like a long-term project now carries the potential for a swift and surprising twist, with continental interest beginning to intensify ahead of the summer window. Cheriti's debut campaign in Scotland has been a mixed one on paper, but far more nuanced upon closer inspection. The Portuguese striker endured a difficult adaptation period, as is often the case with young forwards stepping into a physically demanding league. However, while consistency has occasionally eluded him, his ability to deliver in high-pressure moments has not gone unnoticed. Goals in key fixtures against Hearts and arch-rival Celtic have offered glimpses of a player capable of thriving on the biggest stages. Across all competitions, Cheriti has registered 9 goals and 2 assists in 34 appearances, a return that, while not explosive, suggests a forward still growing into his role. At 21 years old, his profile remains one of potential as much as proven output, and that is precisely what has attracted interest from abroad. According to reports from Eindhoven's Dagblad, Dutch giants Feyenoord have been monitoring Cheriti closely for several months. Their admiration is not new. An approach in January, believed to be in the region of £30 million, was firmly rejected by Rangers, who had no intention of sanctioning a mid-season departure for a player they had only just integrated into the squad. That decision now frames the narrative heading into the summer. If Feyenoord are to reignite their pursuit, they will be required to increase their offer significantly. Rangers, having secured Cheriti from Everton for approximately £8 million, are in a strong negotiating position. Any sale will be expected to generate a clear profit, particularly given the striker's age, physical profile, and flashes of high-level performance. From a strategic standpoint, Rangers face a delicate balancing act. On one hand, cashing in on a developing asset for a sizable return would represent smart business. On the other, allowing a young striker with clear upside to depart so early could prove short-sighted, especially if he is on the verge of a breakthrough season once fully acclimatized to Scottish football. Feyenoord, for their part, are understood to have alternative targets under consideration, meaning Cheriti is not their sole focus. That introduces an element of uncertainty into the equation. While interest is genuine, it is not yet definitive, and much will depend on how negotiations evolve and whether Rangers signal any willingness to engage. There was a boost on the training ground this week as Andreas Skov Olsen returned to action. Having been a signing personally sanctioned by Roll in January, the Danish international is widely expected to be handed a starting role, potentially adding a new dimension to Rangers' attacking setup. Ultimately, Yusef Cheriti finds himself at a crossroads far earlier than many would have anticipated. His first season at Rangers has been one of adaptation, flashes of quality, and gradual progression, enough to spark genuine interest, but not yet enough to define his ceiling. The attention from Feyenoord reinforces the idea that his potential is being recognised beyond Scotland. Rangers' firm stance in January showed their belief in his long-term value, and any renewed approach will likely have to reflect not just what he has produced so far, but what he could become. For Cheriti himself, the focus remains simple: continue delivering in key moments and build consistency. If he can do that, he strengthens his position regardless of outcome, either becoming a central figure at Ibrox moving forward, or commanding a significant transfer that reflects his growing reputation. As it stands, his future remains open-ended. But one thing is clear: he is no longer just a developing striker finding his feet. He is now an asset in demand, and how he performs from here could determine whether this is just the beginning of his Rangers story or the prelude to a swift and profitable departure. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.